Tonight is a special night. We have one we have been waiting for a long time, whether we realize it or not. I'm referring to the opportunity to see a story about a black youth in Nyack, told by a woman who grew up here. As you will see, that kid was made by a whole lot of people, so thank you not only to Ashley, but to her amazing family at Truth to Power and every person who worked on that kid. As far as I know, he doesn't intend to appear at the microphone tonight, but my thanks go out to that kid producer, Brooklyn Denny, as well. After the film, we'll have the opportunity to hear from Ashley Dawson, along with LaTanya Watkins, a board chair at Rockland Community College, who appears in the film, and NAACP President Nicole Hines. The conversation will be moderated by Norris Turtle Branham, one of the film's producers, who also appears in the film, and who is part of the Truth to Power community. And Norris is going to say a few words before we get started. Norris, are you here? Come on up.
So if we can get another warm round of applause for Ashley Dawson. So how did everybody like the film?
Very good.
Of course, we gotta get a round of applause for Atari's sister.
Yes.
Amazing job. Also, before we get started, if we could identify, like, everybody who actually participated in the film, if you could stand up, so everybody can give them a round of applause. And once again, amazing film, completely amazing film. So we have an opportunity now to have a discussion about the film. I hope you all have some questions you'd like to ask at some point. But right now we're going to start it off, and we have Nikki Hines, who is the president of the NAACP of Nyack. And we have LaTanya Watkins, who is an attorney, activist, and an actress.
All right.
And so we're going to start this right now. Ashley, we're going to ask you to just talk a little bit about what inspired you and what really got you into making films, and this film in particular.
Well, after George Floyd was murdered in all of our faces on television, a few people gathered in Nyack at the Hezekiah Easter Square, and I met Brooklyn Denny. We were doing a street painting of like Black Lives Matter. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Brooklyn had his camera and he tried to get me to use it. I didn't really know Brooklyn then, but I know Brooklyn now. It's my brother, it's my twin. I love him very much. Doing that work with Brooklyn and getting some things talked about on videos, that we did some small documentaries about Falco. We did Get Rid of Falco, and we also did Tina Davis videos. And that made me want to continue to tell stories and make a difference in my community. So that's what I did. Brooklyn did his first film, and then it was my turn. And we're here.
Artistically, is this an endeavor that you ever imagined yourself doing? Like, what's your artistic background?
No.
Like, how did you
I went
get
to school
into
for psychology. I graduated from South Carolina State University with a bachelor's in psychology. I wanted to be somebody's therapist, but I am somebody's therapist. I'm a lot of people's therapist right now, so I feel like I'm still doing that great work through my film, so that's where we're at.
What does it mean to you to be able to bring this story to Nyack? How personal is it for you?
It's extremely personal. Like I said, it goes to my Miss Rayner. I feel like it's a lot of people's story here in Nyack. A lot of people's story all around the world. As Black individuals, you know, we are not seen the same way as other individuals. So sometimes when a story's told, it can let other people that don't look like us see what they're doing to us. and maybe help them change the ways that they're doing things. So that's what my story is being told, so we can make a difference in the world and make it a better place, so we can all come together like we did tonight. This is awesome.
So, before we get to the acting questions and all that, let's introduce Nikki Hines, president of the NAACP of NIAC.
Ashley is a community person, and Ashley cares deeply about her community and the young folks who are here in particular, because of the things that she has gone through and not wanting the same for the younger people here. I think, I'm just gonna go into it.
Please do.
I'm just gonna
Please
go.
do.
I think, you know, one, I just want to say that I'm so proud of Ashley for really putting this together. Ashley doubted herself so many times in doing this and not thinking that it was going to go through, and has a sold-out room. And so that's a testament to who Ashley is and what Ashley does. I think Ashley hit a lot of key points in this film. And the fact that she used her community, used where she grew up in the film to show, not to put it down, but to show that this is real, right? This is what I went through. This is what my people are going through, my young people, in a system that isn't designed for them, period. And I love the fact that she used NIAC Center, she used the Senior Center, she used Upper NIAC, because she could have used anywhere else, right? And used NIAC Plaza where she grew up, because it just shows all of the places and pieces of the community that does support, right? So I'm just gonna close with on this part that I'm proud of Ashley. I can't say that enough, because I knew Ashley when Ashley seemed to think that she didn't have a voice, and she's using her voice right through film. So I'm very proud.
We have Natalia Watkins, who is an attorney and also had a major role in this film.
I love to say, and Ashley, thank you again for allowing me to be a part of this beautiful piece.
She made sure she was part of this piece. She told me what she was doing in this piece.
When I was in first grade, my first grade teacher, Miss Jasper, gave out candy for your birthday during the school year. But my birthday's in July, so that means I would not have received candy. So I spoke to other kids and who had summer birthdays, and I went up to her and I said, "We don't think it's fair that you give out candy because we won't get it." And she said, "You're right." So she picked a day for the balance of the school year and she gave out candy for summer babies. But she also said to me, "You should be a lawyer, you just won your first argument." I sit here today as a lawyer because she said that. So I always tell teachers and parents and adults, be careful what you pour into a child's life, because they may believe you. And whether that pouring be negative or positive. She said that. By the time I was 18, I had 3 kids. She said that, and I never forgot that she said that that's what I should do. So she gave me the possibility, and in spite of anything that I went through, that goal and dream was still mine, and was manifested because she planted it. Just like Miss Raynor did for Ashley, just like Miss Raynor in the film did for James. When you pour into a child, whether it's in your home, in your community, or somewhere else, that child can grow. That child can be exactly what you tell them they can be. So remember when you say you're stupid or other negative things that people tend to say to kids, or you can't do this, or you may not be capable, or let's move you to a different classroom, or let's do this. Stop. Pay attention to what you're pouring into a kid, because it matters. And I am a living testimony to the fact that somebody can pour into you at 6, and in spite of life lifing, you can still accomplish what they told you can accomplish. So I thank Ashley for telling this story. James is me. James is many of us in this room. James is many of the people in my community that I grew up with, who, because we lived in certain environments, certain neighborhoods, had certain parents, had certain realities, had certain truths, society and everyone in it said that we could not. But Ashley proved that we can. So thank you.
Cisco, that's all I can think of, was the last
Vatari.
name. Huh? Vatari. I said Vatari. Vatari. All right? What an amazing... But he's great. What an amazing job Vatari did in the film. Just watching you walk through here and walk through this crowd, you're gonna be somebody. When I first seen him, I said, oh, he's such an old soul.
Old soul.
But as much as LaTanya said that James is most of us in this film, James is her, James is me, James was most of us in this film who look like me. What was the name of your character? Nicole.
You're
Is-
Nicole.
Oh.
This is Nicole, y'all.
Nicole also is some of us in this space, because we have been through it as well. Some folks in here are single moms. Even if you aren't a single mom, we know that we do play a role of a single mom, especially if we're doing the working and taking care of the household and all of those things, and how we get labeled by folks in the school system of what we are or what we aren't, because of the fact that we're taking care of home and them not understanding or asking the question of, are you okay?
Ew,
Right.
are you just tired? Oh, maybe she's tired. Maybe she's not on drugs or alcohol. Maybe she's just...
Right. But not only in the school system is that happening, right? That's also in our work lives, that's happening as well. And so Nicole is us.
Absolutely.
James is us.
Absolutely. So, are we correct to, this is your first film?
Yes, it is.
So, definitely won't be the last. Can you talk to tell the people about what inspired you to?
I like acting because, you know, you get to show everyone how much talented you are, and I want to do that, so that's why I like acting.
So you just a natural. Sounds like you're a natural. And you did a great job. Looking forward to seeing where you go. Do you have any aspirations beyond just film?
Well, I am good at making things of cardboard, so maybe making anything out of cardboard.
His Halloween costume out of cardboard. It was amazing, you guys.
We'll open it up to questions.
I found the film very moving. I don't really have a question. I just had something that I noticed that I thought was really powerful, and that was the neighbor who would cook for him. You didn't make it like all like, oh, isn't it sweet? You know, like you were just like straight up like, she's busy too, but she made a really good meal for him, and so he had good food. Like that was, I don't know why I found that particular
She
thing
had
powerful.
5 kids, so she had to cook.
But for some reason that was really moving, very moving to me.
Right. And that's one of my, you know what's funny? As I wrote this movie, I wasn't thinking about a lot of people, but as I watched the movie, I thought about a lot of people and who they were in my life, that I made them a part of it, you know? When I was younger, sometimes I didn't always have food to eat, so I would go to my friend's house, Trisha Jones in the back over there. She has 5 kids, and she would have to cook for her kids, so I would eat at her house, you know? So like as the story went on, even in the moment where the mother is in the party scene and he comes in and asks her for a Snapple. This is the story of my life. My mom would have her friends over, right? And you know, I would ask my mom for a Snapple and she would get a little annoyed about it. But as I think as an adult, Snapples are expensive, you know? So like, somebody, your kid asking you for a Snapple and wanting to give them to their friends is kind of a problem when you don't have money. But you want to be nice, but sometimes you can't always be nice, you know?
Well, I just wanted to say that one of the things in the film that really touched my heart was knowing you and loving on you. I said, oh my God, that's so much part of her life. But how you showed how the community just steps up and takes care of each other. You know, I mean, you know that you're working like the mom and your next door neighbor's cooking for 5 kids. 6 is not that hard to find something to eat for. And I just appreciate the love that you portrayed and the community, because Nyack is off the chain, the best community to live in the world.
Right, right.
I think Spring Valley's kind of great.
It's all right, Spring Valley I struggle a little bit too.
So, hey Ash, this is your big sister right here. Just want to say I'm very proud of you. This is amazing. When you say, yeah, I'm just gonna like one day, yeah, I'm writing a script. You what? Yeah, I'm just writing a script. Okay. And this is the fruition of it, and it's amazing. But I do have a question for you. So you said that's your Mrs. Rayner, who's in the back there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little more personal, your own personal experience?
Sure.
And how it inspired this film?
Sure. Miss Rayner wasn't necessarily a teacher. She was just someone that I knew from church that seen that I had a problem and helped me get through it. The school system, Upper Nyack Elementary School, when I was in 1st grade, they decided to put me in special education. Not knowing too much about me, just knowing that I wasn't probably so social. Because my dad actually left. He wasn't living at our house anymore, so I was kind of sad, you know? So Miss Rayner saw a problem going on in my life as she had a book club at our church. And she took the time out of her busy schedule, and me being the age that I am now, I'm not gonna tell you guys, so, but me being the age that I am, your life is busy and it's hard to help someone. And Miss Rayner took the time out of her life to teach me how to read, you know, and I was able to write the script. I was able to go to college. I was able to get my degree. And the school system continued to enable me because they had a proctor for me for every single test until I graduated. From 1st grade to 12th grade, every single test that I took, somebody was reading and writing for me. So there was no way for me to even learn if I didn't have Ms. Rayner and another woman named Dr. Green that came into my life and helped me learn and to do better.
As a lifelong Nyack resident, I love this movie, and it made me think of so many people that I grew up with that came out of the plaza. Like one in particular, I'll just use a nickname, like Nisi. I just feel like, yeah, she made it out. She made it out, she's successful. Her girls are both graduating college now, they're successful. She made it, and she wasn't the only one. A lot of kids made it out of the plaza, and they are doing wonderful things, and I enjoyed that part of the movie. But also made me think that this child's father died, and the school didn't know anything about it. And that's why we have to fight so hard for schools that have services, that have counselors, that there's a connection between parents and families, because there's so many kids you don't even know. They got a lawyer, they got an AFC, and they're going to school. You want them to be able to study, but they've got a lawyer, and they got to fight to see their father, they got to fight to see their mother. We have to have the open conversation between families and the school. We have to learn how to trust each other more. They shouldn't just prejudge us. Oh, she's on drugs. No, she works long hours because she's trying to survive. And it was just beautifully done how you kind of pointed to that, hey, if you knew this kid's father had passed, maybe you could have given him some services. Maybe you could have helped him succeed, but instead you judged him. Beautiful movie.
about Naya Plaza. Naya Plaza, folks seem to think that it is a bad area, right? Seem to think that that's a place to where you can't be. Naya Plaza is people's homes. That's a community. Thus people's livelihoods, and people always want to put a stake on it to make it seem that those are bad folks that live. There's these babies in here. There's nothing wrong with their homes and them living in Naya Plaza. And so they're there, and folks are there. Ashley came from there. Most of us are living in there, have family members in there, but there's such a stake on Naya Plaza that makes people think that those folks that live in there are no good. They're me, they're Ashley. They're most folks in here that could be in there. And so we have to get that out of our minds, because that's what the systems are doing for them in that place. And once we can do that, then we can be together. I think that that's the part that Ashley showed as well, because even having the young men that was standing outside, going by James saying, hey, can I talk to you? All those things were happening, right? And those things don't just happen in Naya Plaza. It happens throughout the whole entire community. But we only think that because there are 2, 3, or 4 black men that are standing there giving the kids that it's a problem, right? It's not. And once we get that out of our mind, then we can become that community that we should be, and taking care of each other.
I will say for me, one of the most alarming lines in the movie, when I said to her, oh, I didn't know you were married. Yeah. It's like, I thought about, what's the movie where Angela Bassett says, yes, his father, or did you think we made them by ourselves? But yeah, that was reminiscent for me of that line. And it's, yeah, there are mommies and daddies that raise their children in the plaza at Fred Hack on Hilltop in Spring Valley, because I'm from Spring Valley. And Fred Hack, where I grew up, and Hilltop was Nyack Plaza in Spring Valley, right? So people judge where we came from. I remember I was dating this guy once, I know, TMI. And he said, when he moved to New York, all of the people who knew Rockland area said, never go up on the hill, they'll kill you. And I said, wow, I grew up there, I didn't know that. And he was like, oh my God, you grew up there? I did. I don't think he'll ever tell that story again.
I'm Roger Harris, Ashley's older cousin. Ashley, first cousin. Yeah, you did a great job on this movie. And one thing about Nye, ladies and gentlemen, I was born and raised in Nye. Okay, my name is Harris. We lived up in Walton Terrace. One thing about Nye, it's a community, and everybody raised in a community. The community raised us. Okay, you don't have food, your neighbor might have food, you know. So that's how we did, and she brought that back into, you know, how we was raised. And I am so proud of her. The actors, lawyer, y'all did a fabulous job. I'm just so proud that my son was a little part of it. One of the students, yes. But Ashley, you did a great job. The movie was great, and one thing about Nye, everybody, it's about love. That's what Nye is, it's about love.
Good evening, guys. How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for all coming out here. I really appreciate you taking the time and being out here. I just wanted to share a quick story about my sister, Alexandra. I grew up in the 90s, early 90s. For kindergarten, my sister goes to school. My mom took her PS 122. I'm from Astoria, Queens, New York. And my sister comes home and she tells my mom, she says, oh, how was school? How was your first day of school? I said, Mom, I don't understand anybody in the class. What do you mean you don't understand? Yeah, I don't understand what anybody's saying. I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Spanish, and they ended up putting my sister in bilingual class just because her name was Rodriguez. Yes. So my mom flipped out, went crazy. She said, what did you do? She put my daughter in class. Yes, we're Puerto Rican and we speak Spanish, but I speak English with them. she doesn't understand what's going on. You're sending my daughter home in Spanish, to work. So I just think this film and this story is very important, especially in the times that we're living in right now with racism and people judging and just putting people in this class and this without really taking the time and opportunity for those students. So I'm so glad that I was a part of this film, and Ashley and Brooklyn hit me up and asked me, and I'm sorry that I was the character that I was, but I did my very best. I did my very best to show that we're living in times where there are people, I'm pretty sure you've had a supervisor, who has spoken to you that way, or has been condescending, or, and sometimes power and authority gets to people's head and they think that they can talk to people however they feel and like. So thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this story. That star, that guy, that kid has a lot of talent, and thank you guys for being here tonight. That's really important.
I loved it. I've been that kid. And I also like, because they also touch on the fact of how it is to be that mom. When you're afraid to let your kid get tested because you don't know if they're going to railroad them into special ed and they're not going to get the opportunities that they deserve and get to where they need to be in life because you don't know how quickly you can get railroaded. So I like how you guys touch on all the points from being that kid to being that mom that you got to be afraid. So thank you.
We probably did. Just say one thing. Just about the testing, only because I know my oldest was in kindergarten. And they used to do the little testing. So they have the testing and they have a picture of something, you have to say what it is, this and that. So then there was a problem. So the teacher came in and said, what's the problem? So I'm looking, just like if they show a picture of a lamp. He called it a light. I don't say go turn the lamp on, I said go turn the light on. So he called it a light, and it was a problem for them. And that made no sense to me. I'm like, well, there's different, ways. You can't judge a child on this. Because we have different ways of saying things and speaking. I don't say go turn on the light. I'm sorry. I mean, there were other things, but that one just stood out to me. Sorry. But that was excellent.
It's funny, her saying that made me think my mother would say, go hit the light. That may turn it off.
So, I think I was told that the real Miss Ranger is in here tonight. We want to ask her if she can say a few words, or at least can we acknowledge her?
Where is she?
Can we just acknowledge her?
There we go.
Thank you. I am Joan Rayner. I'm so thankful that when I was new to this community when I met Ashley. I was from a little southern girl from the South, and the New Yorkers talk funny and fast. And I'm so thankful that I connected with a church that, and I'm still there at the Pilgrim Baptist Church. I invite you to come anytime you want to. Just a little commercial there. But one summer, the church allowed us to do a summer reading program. And Ashley, I was so fortunate to meet Ashley, who was this little shy girl, and saw her, I've seen her bloom. So Ashley, I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that God put you in my life because He wanted to see you bloom. Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
The rest of the cast and crew, give them a round of applause. Thank you, everybody.
I just need to put in a plug. So every second Friday at the X House, there is a teen movie night. So if your kid is, oh, sorry, my pastor would like to say something, I think.
Where can we get the shirt?
Not yet, y'all, but it's coming.
Will there be any way for people to watch the movie again?
We're entering into film festivals. If you guys can continue to donate on our GoFundMe, that would be a big help so that we can get into festivals and get some more recognition for this film and allow more people to see this film.
All right.
Another round of applause for That Kid the Film.
That kid. I like it.
Every second Friday, if you have any teens, come around. There's pizza and there's movie night, and it's free, and it'll give you parents some time to just relax.
He's good.
So bring your kids.
Yeah.